This is a 1961 E-Type. This is one of the very first Jags off of the assembly line, one of the very first left-hand drive cars. They started making right-hand drive cars first.
Take us through this car because this is one of our favorite cars in your stable here.
Okay.
Do a whispery show this time. Welcome to Spike's Car Radio. There are a bunch of podcasts that do that, you know. This ASMR kind of whispery show.
What is that shit?
It's well. Do you have TikTok? Do you have any of that stuff?
I do, and I can't listen to anything with
People
the
are
noise.
just looking for new things to do, but it's, you know, I can stand about 6 seconds of it. There's something okay about it if a woman's doing it, if she's whispering like this.
Yeah, but she could also just be
What do you
talking.
mean
And
they're
that's
looking
okay.
for new things to do?
Well, we live in such a crowded media landscape that everybody's looking for a new thing. And this whispery podcast thing or whispery ASMR or whatever is a way of doing stuff.
Why don't they just lop their members off with pinking shears?
They do.
And
They do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But the whisper, especially with an actor, makes someone lean into what you're saying. So the idea is you'll lean in and listen to this whole podcast.
Spike.
If you whisper.
Hey, Spike.
What are you interrupting me for?
What a great idea. I hate you.
I'm in the middle of talking.
I hate everybody.
Let me finish a sentence.
But that's just not our style here.
No, we bellow.
We have a great show for you today.
We do?
Jay Turkbus from Sheffield is finally here.
Hey.
He's going to show us some of the watches he's got for 2025, including the new SCR Grun, which was named in a text in about 5 seconds when he said he was going to call it the new SCR watch or SCR3. And I go, we don't have a name for it? He goes, no. And I go, how about... And then he said, oh, it's based on these 80s paint to sample colors. And I said, how about Grun? He goes,
Grun?
Perfect. Grun.
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 And I believe they're already sold out, but I don't know. But he's going to come here. He's going to talk about everything he's doing for 2025. Let's do a little housekeeping. We had Jerry on the show last week.
That was
Fantastic
fun.
show. It's always fun when he's there. At some point, I'm going to call a lot of the comments and go through them. I thought it would just be fun to kind of do a little segment on the comments. But in general, one of the comments is always about how the light goes out, which it just did. We need something for that. I don't know what that is yet.
That's my grandmother.
My creative team.
She said it's my grandmother trying to communicate.
People
with
are
us.
watching very closely, even without us whispering. And that is a motion detector that's really high connected to a light so that when you come in to the hangar, the light turns on. We haven't figured out how to get this motion detector off so it always stays on. So we've decided to incorporate it into the show.
We all scream something.
Lots of people wondering what make Jerry a regular? He should be a regular on the show, Spike.
Oh, he's got nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do. Also lives in a different state.
Yes.
And has been a regular since day one. He was on the very first show. So he's always been a regular. It's just how much we can get him here. And of course, we love having him on the show. What else? Let's check in with which Spike do you like to see how well we did. The IMDb poll. If you didn't see this was a poll on IMDb about which Spike do you like. I was on the list out of 22. I was dead last until I opened it up to you, the listener. And here we are right now. I'm not in the top 6. There's Spike Lee. There's Christine, whoever that. Oh, look, I've made it up to 8 from 22.
You still suck.
Well, I don't suck as bad.
Well, if you were Chinese, 8 would be the perfect number.
That's right. Auspicious.
I'm happy here. At least I'm in the top 10. But that photo of me, can you zip in on that photo? Zuckerman, when I was doing this late night show, I took so many bad pictures. Look at 8 and 9. To me, they're the same. I look like I'm taking a dump right there. Like, oh, I just went to the bathroom in my pants.
Well, I think that his picture's better than yours.
It is.
I think number 9's a better picture.
That is a terrible picture. But look,
But wait, real quick.
we're better than Spike the dog, finally.
But the Spike the Family Pet is ahead of you.
Wait, where's that?
Number
Wait.
7 is Spike the Family Pet.
Oh, come on. That's not
From the
right.
1991 Rugrats movie.
Wow. I'm from 1991, by the way. That's the height of my fame. Well, anyway, thank you for this at least.
I love him and Reese is fat. If fans, that guy's
Family Pet.
Go up higher. Who else beat us? Let's see how much more Frank Welker in Gremlins.
We never heard of him.
Oh, well, he was one of the Gremlins, right? I'm cool with that.
Spike the dog.
From Tom and Jerry, that's okay
Spike
too.
the dog's good, yeah.
James Marsters from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I saw a lot of that.
People
Spike
like
Jones,
him.
definitely. But this Cowboy Bebop bullshit, no. This should not be in the top 10. Spike Spiegel. None of us know who this is. None of the Spikes are happy about this one. But anyways, thank you. Also, there's been a choice in the Morris Solomon logo. And
There
it's
has?
our friend... yeah, I'm choosing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We made a decision.
We made a
Let's hear
decision
your
to
decision.
ask the general manager, right?
Yeah.
And then I made the choice on my own. And the winner is our friend Lyndon Ward from New Adventure Marketing, who did this stuff. You cannot deny this guy's work. He's got a marketing company called New Adventure. He did 45 pages that I finally read that had Zuckerman. It was a whole rollout strategy for the dealership. A whole, and bigger than the dealership, a whole media campaign that we could employ, that we could just put into action with content. It was a whole thing. Really impressive, but I'll tell you what sold me on it. That tan hat in the middle, that next to the fella looking left, right to the right of that, that's the one we're going to make. New Era, and I saw this hat, went crazy, and said, let's make this and roll this out for the new Spike's Car Radio Shopify sales site. We weren't able to do the upper left hats, which I also think are really cool, and the 1-3 down from the top left, which looks like a great tennis hat, but we're farming that out to someone else.
You know when they have those reaction videos, like somebody's listening to music for the first time?
Yeah.
They should have had our faces. Our reaction faces.
To what?
To this.
You reacted to it. We already talked about it in the show.
We did?
Yeah.
We did? I like the guys. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Wait,
I forgot.
which Zuckerman do I have? Yeah, we went through this.
You have a different Zuckerman. I was thinking we were getting the crazy guy with the cigar.
Well, we have a lot. We did save all of our great pitches that we like for different things. The cigar guy, yes, may end up on a product of some kind.
He was good.
What were some of the other logos down here? These were just other options that we might be doing in the future for the dealership. Keep going down lower. There's a cool kind of I like these blue ones. Go down lower, the last one.
Does it ever say Solomon?
Is that the last one? No. Not on this first round of hats for Morris.
There's more down the line.
There's tons of stuff down the line.
see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good
But
font.
you have to roll out one product first, Zuckerman. And I needed an idea for the New Era cap, the baseball cap. This is what they responded to, and this is what we're going to do. And I'm excited about it. And then we're going to take this idea and transpose it into Zuckerman's and Lieberman's and Spike's Car Radio stuff, but the same kind of fonty look. It's the beginning of something big.
It's a good font. Good font.
The font is good, and I'd like the Mo. And we know several Mo's.
And then this is just apropos of nothing. Last Thursday, I'm playing tennis at 8 o'clock, and these two guys are talking about their grandparents. Both of them were named Morris. What the hell?
Let us make Morris. Forget about Spike being number 8.
One was
Let's
Hispanic.
make Morris number 1.
One was Hispanic.
Not
he goes,
possible.
it's Maurice, but we called him Morris. Where does Morris come from?
Moses Moshe.
Moshe.
Ah.
It's an Anglicization. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Moses becomes Morris. But Moshe is it.
We got an update coming through Ellis Island. We got to make, Moses isn't so cool.
Yeah.
Let's make it something a little less cool. Morris.
Yeah.
And another thing that came up in the comments was, where has Jonny been? Many,
have I been?
Many thought you were gone.
I'm gone.
Why isn't Jonny on the show anymore? And I know the Spike's Car Radio account was defending you, saying Johnny's been in Japan. Were you in Japan?
I was in Japan.
What were you doing in Japan? Was it just fun?
Vacation.
Yeah?
Yeah. Took the family. Schaefer, who's been a photographer, he's taken lots of pictures of us. He moved to Tokyo. And we were supposed to go a year ago. And then the day before we were leaving, my wife had her gallbladder out. So we delayed it a year because it was tied to Richard's spring break. And yeah, we went to Tokyo, stayed with Schaefer, went to Osaka, went to Kyoto, went to the monkey park. You would have loved it.
Did you bring your wife's gallbladder to Mount Fuji and toss it in?
No.
Were there any notable cars there that you?
Like stuff I love to look at in Japan was all there. So in other words, these amazing vans called Alphards, which are the coolest things in the world. They're just these huge
Alphard,
hard like an Alphard. They're just vans, and they have giant grills, And
look at that.
And they have the interiors. So it's very just Japanese Shogun face. And then the interiors can be like hyper luxurious. Like you sit in these pods. If you go,
why don't we have these?
Yeah, I don't know. They're all over Asia.
Click on that.
So
this is fantastic.
It's the best. It's the best. They're the greatest. And then
so they're all captain's chairs, right?
they can be. They have like different levels. So like the executive Alphard is the one where you sit in these pods. Actually, so Cam, third picture from my left. Anyways, they're just these pods.
There we go.
Yeah, and they're just great. They're just cool things. There's a Lexus version called the Lexus LM, which is an Alphard with an even nicer interior. Plus, there's a 42-inch screen that separates you from the driver, and you can do whatever you want with that. And it's also a 4-seater. So instead of being a 7-seater, the LM is a 4-seater. So it's just even bigger, crazier chairs.
Why couldn't we have that here?
I don't know. Ask Toyota. No idea. Van culture is like hard in Japan. It's really a thing. And then also like I love seeing Toyota Centuries, including the new Toyota Century SUV, which I didn't like the pictures in person. It's so on the street. It just looks so good. The one I saw was all black, not two-tone.
It kind of looks like a Genesis.
It's a Genesis
and a Lincoln.
And a Cullinan. Look at the rear.
Yeah, mixed into one. But I like it too. It's really interesting design.
And then and then just lots of Centuries, including I saw one with diplomatic plates and a flag. The flag was covered up.
So there's just no market for these Toyota luxury cars here?
So I got to go to the factory in 2019, and the second gen one, they decided to make it global. And they sold 27 outside of Japan. So then I said, is this new third gen one going to be global? And the chief editor looks at me in English, goes, no.
Was the second gen sold in the U.S.? Was the U.S. legal?
It was never U.S. It was sold in Germany. It was sold in England. It was sold in like big markets, like I think maybe Australia, but 27 total in a 20-year run. So
would there be 27 left-hand drive ones out there? Or there's some number of left-hand drive ones?
That's a great question. I don't know if there are any left-hand drivers.
What year was this?
Yeah.
What year was
97 is when the second gen came out. So they probably were, well, I don't know, because they might have just sold them in like England and Australia and maybe in Germany to like embassies or something. I don't know if they ever made.
Okay, so this is your mission.
Find out if there's a left-hand driver.
If we can get one of the rare left-hand drive ones.
It's V12.
Leave him in.
All right.
You've been given your brief.
I can do this right now if you want.
We're doing a show. Leave him in.
All right.
Are we? I'm not sure what we're doing.
Yeah. But anyway,
Could it be a show?
Saw many of these around Ginza and Shibuya and all that. And it was fantastic.
Did you have any of that Wagyu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine.
My son has not stopped talking about like the best steak he had was in the subway station. It was like $8 and he's just getting these great steaks.
We had this.
It's wonderful to be 11.
No, he's a connoisseur of all of this stuff. And he's, goes to restaurants here and he's like, America's got nothing on what he ate there.
I mean, I will say we went to the big fish market and we had some chutoro, which is medium fatty toro tuna, right off the fish. And I mean,
yummy.
God damn. Disgusting. It's so good.
What about just the order of the place? Everybody, they come back, they go, this place has order. People are nice to each other. There's politeness.
Richard
There's no eating on the sidewalk while you're walking. The police enforce. It's just a better direction than America. Just a more polite version.
There's no trash because there's no trash cans. Trash cans because of the sarin gas attack, but there's no trash. Richard was freaking out because it's like a rite of passage for Japanese kindergartners to like get on the subway by themselves.
Right.
Little groups of 3 or 4. And he's like, I want to move here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't move here. But so we just started letting him go get his breakfast in the morning. Like, go find a place. I want an egg salad sandwich. I want this kind of rice thing.
Wow.
And he would just wander around Tokyo, 32 million person city.
Wow.
And come back and he was fine.
And how old is he?
He's 8.
So he found his way.
And
the people kind of take care of the kids. It's kind of
he fell at one point. We were walking through some street and he was goofing around and he fell and really skinned his knee bad and he started screaming. And 2 different, not business owners, but employees selling hats came out with first aid kits.
Wow.
2. And I'm like,
that's so cool.
I'm like,
Are you the most unkempt thing in Japan when you're in Japan? You're like the unmade bed of
Police
Japan.
stopped him a lot.
Yes.
We should go together so I can be number 2. Over Chiban Nishiban.
Yeah.
Over 2 decades ago, RaceDeck was invented, the cost-effective, durable, truly do-it-yourself modular flooring system engineered for the garage. There it is, our favorite picture. If there was RaceDeck in Japan, Richard would have fallen on that and been okay. RaceDeck can handle vehicle rolling loads in excess of 80,000 pounds, doesn't chip, peel, or stain, over 33 patents for the product line, 20 styles to choose from, and countless, even more color options. Plus, just like Zuckerman, patented self-draining understructures.
Yes. I'm doing it right now. Ferrison,
You don't even know.
Look at my face. It's happening.
I'm trying to think of the filmmaker on SNL. Was it Tom Schiller?
He was a bottle
It was
pisser.
the first year when I was an intern. I think it was Tom Schiller. He came up to me and he goes, I went to the Emmys and I catheterized myself.
What?
I went, what? He goes, I had a catheter in and I sat with Gilda Radner and I peed the whole time during the ceremony. And I knew I was in a cool place. I was like, that's a great story, Tom. And he was telling the truth.
Did he need to be catheterized?
No,
or
he
just
did not.
enjoyed it.
He
for
just
fun.
didn't want to get up to go to the bathroom. So he got a catheter.
I don't think that's very comfortable to do.
When he told me the story, he was uncomfortably close to my face and smiling. Like,
This is.
it could have been a bit, but I believed him.
I think he was
It's
hitting on you.
when 50-year-olds talk to 25-year-olds. 50-year-old men talk to 25-year-olds.
I was 21.
Yeah, so the gulf of understanding.
But he was a weirdo, super funny filmmaker guy. He made like short films in the early SNL seasons. So, I was just thankful
kid.
to have that little anecdote.
Hey kid, come over here. I got some catheters. You want to try?
Kid, you ever heard of a coffee colonic?
Yeah.
You're the coffee guy, right?
I'm in the middle of a RaceDeck ad.
Hey kid,
And we're talking about
you want to become a eunuch? I have some hedge clippers.
shop at racedeck.com and use code SPIKE911 for an exclusive 15% off and a catheter and free shipping. There are lots of catheter ads on CNN, aren't there?
For the ones that are ultra comfortable.
Yeah.
If
How
they're-
many catheterized people are floating around the country right now?
All of them.
God forbid.
Everybody's catheterized.
We just need to go back to diapers. Let's just get it over with.
All right, let me look at my rundown here and see where we are. Okay.
Did we get past the catheters?
Urine, Emmy, RaceDeck ad. Check. We got past that. All right, good. We've got a couple. I thought you were bringing a car, but Zuckerman has brought a beautiful car behind us. We don't talk about the cars behind us when we don't have press cars, and then people get upset. Like the Zagato was a perfect example. But if you want to see the Zagato, Jay Leno did a great piece on it. We'll do a piece on it at some point. We've got something special planned for some of these cars. We're going to do little drives after the show.
Yes.
It's going to be subscription, but we're going to hop in cars and do a little
I like the word. Can
Yeah.
I say that word again?
subscription.
Money.
Encryption.
Give me your money.
Catheterization.
Hedge
Drives.
clippers.
You and I will both be catheterized.
We should catheterize them, actually. That's
Yes.
Have you been catheterized ever? I have.
No.
Ooh, it's bad.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, it's nasty.
yeah.
I don't know.
Why would you have been catheterized? Were you
I
not
had a
passing-
kidney stone a long time
Oh.
ago in my early dehydration days.
Is that as bad as they say it is, pain-wise, the kidney stone?
It's quite bad. It's not good,
My cousin had them.
but people always compare it to pregnant. How would I compare that? I've never been pregnant. I
Yeah,
don't know,
it seems
but
like
I don't think I was yelling as much as as Erica was when we were having her kids.
Seems like a different thing, yeah.
But it's out there. It's out there on the
Oh,
pain scale.
It sounds awful. I once had to get an ultrasound of my prostate. And I said to the man who was doing it, this is the worst day of my life. And he said to me, it could be worse. And I said, how is that? He goes, I could be putting this in your penis.
Yes,
and I said,
it is true.
that is true.
So they had to get a couple at the time. I remember the doctor was going, how do you hydrate yourself? What do you drink? And I go, well, wine and coffee. Why? I thought that was perfectly normal.
Yeah.
And I had just come back we were doing Letterman shows in London. I basically hit everything I wasn't supposed to do. Transatlantic trip, not drinking water, eating chocolate, and eating broccoli. I hit every one, and I came back to New York with giant kidney stones.
Jesus.
And it was a bad situation. And, you know, I think they went in, you know how they go in to get these things out.
Yeah.
There was a 2-step thing that had to be done, but they went in while I was awake through the hole, Zuckerman. And I had to see that.
You're numbed up though.
You can't get numb enough.
They can't numb up the eyes.
Yes, that's the problem.
They can't. And after that, I went to the kidney doctor, wherever, and I go, this can never happen again. And it has not happened since. And he said, it's really simple. Just drink water. Just drink water. You're going to be fine.
Next time, ask for a blindfold and a cigarette. That just sounds horrible.
It's one of those super humbling moments of life where you're just like, wow, I didn't have this on the bingo card. I didn't know this was going to be part of my lifespan. Where were we? Oh, we're talking about this car. Anyway.
Okay, kidney stones and Jaguars.
How did we get there?
Yeah.
Catheter.
Anyway, check it out, Zuckerman.
Shaped
Take us
like a
through this
catheter.
car because this is one of our favorite cars in your stable here. What year are we looking
This
at?
is a 1961 E-Type. So this is a very early car, 61 being the first year of the E-Type. This is one of the very first Jags off of the assembly line. One of the very first, in particular, left-hand drive cars. They started making right-hand drive cars first. And so it's got the little features that the cognoscenti know about. It is a flat floor, outside hood bonnet, welded louver car. So it's got all of the earliest features. And
Look at how beautiful that is.
the designers of these cars had come out of the aircraft industry in Britain from World War II. And I think it was Malcolm Sayer.
Malcolm Sayer.
Malcolm Sayer, who had worked at the Bristol Ferry airplane company. He drew this car out. And this is in the age before computers and aerodynamic wind tunnels. And this car had such a low coefficient of drag coefficient. But one of the reasons is it has a flat floor underneath for perfect airflow underneath. The compromise, of course, is that the wheel wells, look at me in there. The wheel wells, anyone taller than 5'8" will have their knees up around the steering column. So getting in underneath the steering wheel is a little bit difficult because there's no cutout in the floorboards. There's no footwell. And behind me, the bulkheads had not been yet scooped out. So later versions have a footwell and you can go back a few inches.
But if you look at later versions, the guts are hanging out of the bottom.
Right.
Because they had to make room. So this beautiful, perfect design. And it always looks weird because most E-Types, you see all the exposed piping and just junk is like hanging out of the belly. So it always looks wounded.
The cockpit of this car is beyond.
Right.
You know, it reminds me of the 220 last week with Jerry's car. Like I think I'm just getting hooked on dark metallic greens with tan interiors. Is it a biscuit interior?
It is a biscuit.
It's biscuits.
It's biscuits. And
Is that really what it's called?
Yeah.
I mean, and is that a Modalito steering wheel?
No, that's a Jag. That's a Jag.
Jag.
That's
Okay.
a Jag, and it's nice and old, so it has a little flex to it.
It's
and
so
obviously,
beautiful.
this is from the era before safety features. Because
Right,
if you
right.
crashed, you know toggle switches in your forehead.
I know, but look at that.
Yeah.
What that view right there is to die for. Absolutely to die for. That gets me crazy.
You know, it's funny though. They actually did. This is, I believe, the first car where they actually used a wind tunnel, but it was so primitive that first of all they had to do it when the town was asleep because it used like most of the power in the town. So like they'd be at the pub and the lights would flicker.
Right.
But then they didn't believe the results because no one had ever used it for cars before. So what they did was Sayer taped pieces of cotton all over it and ran around in a D-Type observing and taking photos of the cotton to see how the air was flowing.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal story. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
What in Zuckerman, like just basic stats here. What do we have horsepower wise?
Okay, so according to Jag, it's about 250 horsepower. Was it 256 or 246?
Yeah, I always heard 260, but
something like that. And I'll tell you, it's got a lot of torque. It's
And
got
weight?
real pull. The weight is, I think, 2,800 pounds. And it's a very clever, once again, I think aircraft-derived construction technique where the engine is placed basically in the nose of the vehicle in this cradle. It's like a birdcage cradle, which then bolts on to the back of the car, and the engine becomes a structural component of the vehicle. And the pumpkin head, that's called pumpkin on that color. The pumpkin head denoted a certain kind of like a race head from the earlier versions, like the XK 150 and the 140s and the 120s. So this is the high compression head. You've got 3 SU carburetors. And in 61, if you're looking for a sports car and you're looking, say, at Corvette, you're looking at 356B, you're looking at a 300 SL. This is a really valid choice. Ergonomically, it's not so great. There's no trunk room. The Moss gearbox is super antiquated. That's the biggest drawback in the car. First gear is not synchronized. You got to be at a complete stop to go into first. Right. But the rest of the gears are straight cut, which means you need a really slow, deliberate shift. You can't speed shift this car, but you have enough range in all of the gears that you can accelerate quite rapidly.
And there's enough torque that you can just go to the top with.
You can go to the top. It's got four-wheel independent suspension, 4-wheel disc brakes. It's got that clamshell front end. It is a really
look at the battery placement down there.
Drive. Yeah,
really interesting.
Well, like, I mean, 250, 260 horsepower in 61. Like a Corvette would have been like, nothing. A Porsche was half that.
Right.
So and then, really, here's the luggage. Here's a shot of the luggage here.
for your weekend getaway.
Yeah. We opened up that top one. There was a human hand in it with blood, and Zuckerman just quickly closed it.
And that's it. That's the hand of the man who took my money.
And then look. I pretended to dump some coffee in it, and then look, take a leak, and then he tried to hit me in the. That's the fun we have here. Very good, Johnny. Very good. What happened with the carbs last week?
Okay, so the carbs from sitting, I think the needles may have rotted because of our current fuel. Our current fuel is not friendly to the internals of SU carbs.
So the float stays open. It starts pissing leaking, gas.
Yeah.
How long does a car have to sit for that to happen?
Well, apparently 3 months.
3 months. So apparently. you want to drive this car.
I have to drive it more.
Right. But if someone were out there, you'd want to be be driving it every couple of weeks. You want to be
driving it. Maybe I should put, I don't know, some stabilizer or something. And I don't know if that's
little lead.
Little lead. So I am at the very end of the useful life of this transmission and clutch.
Oh, really?
So it's got a hydraulic clutch. It engages about 1/8 of an inch from the top end. And it's about to just be finished. And there is a later 5-speed assembly that bolts right on. And so I've got this conundrum. I can rebuild the original Moss gearbox with all of its deficiencies, or I can put in the 5-speed and have a really much better performing car, but not as original. And certainly I can if I do that, I put the original gearbox aside.
So what's the question? Are you asking
what do you do?
What do you do? I mean, do you care what happens to it after you're dead?
No.
Then put in a gearbox that makes it a better driver.
Yeah.
Would
you say?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, this is about your driving.
Yeah.
We're drivers. You want this to drive well. You want to enjoy it.
You
do that. However, you got to take the original, you got to obviously save the original gearbox, and maybe you get that rebuilt and just leave it off to the side.
I would say the only thing is what you didn't mention. You said this is a very early car. Yeah. Chassis number 45.
Yeah.
And probably the first E-Type sold in America.
Yes.
So maybe you got to do the Mossberg.
No, but there's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's not that guy. Like the way I've always approached this problem is you keep the original part, you restore the original part, and then you make the car what you want it to be to drive. And then when you hand it off someday, you go, here it is, if you care, or this car is going to be displayed or sold. Yeah. Here's the original transmission. If it is in fact a bolt-on, just have the work done slowly and hold on to that thing.
Here's the last thing I'm going to do, though. The current shifter, it has its shift knob that when you get to 5-speed, you get a reproduction that's not accurate. I'm going to leave the original 4-speed shift knob on.
That's going to bite you in the ass one day.
Why?
Because then somebody will be moving your car and will read it wrong.
Who's going to move it?
Who knows? Somebody, somewhere,
But it looks different. I mean, you think I'll just forget about it? I'm going to look at the shift pattern.
So you wait, I missed the part. You're adding an extra gear.
Yeah.
That new transmission has an extra gear.
It has a 5-speed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I
Hey,
think
Spike, you should borrow the E-Type.
that might be a step. That might be a step too far for me.
Okay, so
I might just rebuild the original.
Oh,
line.
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or-
I didn't
or
know there
change
was
the
an
knob and hold on to put the knob.
No, now
somewhere.
we're getting into all sorts of weirdness. If it were one unnoticeable thing and you had the same 4 gears, you know what I mean? But an added gear seems odd.
well, you do get when you do the gearing that way, it improves the performance
Yeah,
and
no, I get it.
acceleration dramatically.
But-
and if you were driving on the highway, you get an
But it
overdrive.
fundamentally kind of changes the whole vehicle. Do you know what I mean?
I don't, again, no problem with that. I'm just saying,
I do.
somebody's going to misshift because
I mean,
of the
imagine like you had a
4-speed.
356 and suddenly it's got a 5th gear where it only had 4. That would be weird. That'd be odd. Anyway, it's good
Yeah.
to think about. Let's talk about Acre Gold.
Oh.
Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you had followed Acre Gold and the trajectory of Acre Gold, where's the Google the price of gold? You would, in fact, be rich right now if you had bought. Oh, look at this! It's up another $200. Acre Gold, you don't have to come out of pocket for expensive gold all at once. Instead, subscribe to gold for as little as $30 a month. Had you been doing this, where do we start? I think when we started, the price of gold was $2,600 an ounce. And now look, and keep in mind, a Bitcoin thing is $90,000. There's a lot of room to move here. I'm pitching gold for some reason. Keep in mind, I know nothing about anything financial. But here's how it works at Acre. Pay in every month until your gold stash reaches the price of Acre Gold's bars, and then Acre discreetly ships directly to your home. Acre Gold also has 50, 100, and 250 per month options for larger gold bars. And I believe I heard now they're going to have a component where you to transact the gold. So once you have your hoard of gold and it goes up as high as it has, had we been, even though our gold has gone up,
I don't know where mine
we can
went.
transact. You lost your gold?
Mine's in
It's
my
not
safe.
okay. It's the size of a peppercorn or less. I don't know where I
It's
put it.
bigger than this thumbnail.
No, it is not. Well, you maybe got what they sent to me.
Anyways, go to getacregold.com/spike911 for your gold. They'll send you more gold.
Send me more to lose.
Send me more
They'll
gold.
send you
Have you
5
seen
grams.
the gold machine in China? You bring your unwanted gold into a machine in the supermarket, and it melts.
It does?
It does.
Like the coin thing?
Yeah, like
The counting of
Coinbase,
pennies?
but with Coinbase.
Oh,
with this,
I think I got it finally. That looked pretty good.
yeah, it melts your shit in the market. Maybe not.
And then
so
what do you
safe.
get? What do you get?
Well, then it weighs what's left over and gives you money.
Can they do something with unwanted relatives?
Yes, let's do that.
That's the machine.
Jay from
Have that
Sheffield's going to be on in a minute. Before we do the SCR green room, I just want to tell you about this little thing I've been riding. I couldn't ride it today because it was raining, but check out this new Ducati Scrambler Full Throttle that I've got. Cameron just realized he's got work to do. He was daydreaming over there.
He was
He looked around and went, "Oh
Instagramming.
shit, I'm not ready for
on TikTok.
There you go. I shot this footage today. Here's the new Ducati Scrambler Full Throttle. Our friend, of course, the Scrambler, modern, lighter, and lively, irresistible personality. These bikes, Zuckerman, are just so easy to ride, these Ducati Scramblers, and it looks cool. There goes the police.
Yep, Sky.
Nonstop. You don't fuck with our neighborhood. It's nonstop security now. Long guns. Something I like the most about this, I think the camera's going to zoom in, is look what they did to commemorate their favorite podcast. They put an SCR. You
No
get a
way.
special SCR Ducati Scrambler SCR. That's right. It's the first branded motorcycle for the show.
Really?
No, it's
Okay.
just a coincidence. It's like the SF90 being the Spike Ferriston 90 or the Roof SCR.
The roof SCR. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
But I guess you could look at it as the third Spike branded vehicle.
Yes.
Flat track racer side number there. There's a
So
special
cool.
little exhaust. It's also got, Zuckerman, you'll like this, ride by wire. Do you know what that is? Riding mode.
What does that mean? Tell me.
There's no cable from
Yeah, it's
here.
digital.
Don't like that.
It's digital.
No, me no like.
It works okay.
Yeah.
Sure,
I'm-
for sudden unintended acceleration, or when someone in China decides to press a button, and then you go 300 miles an hour into a
It can go
freeway
300 miles an
office.
hour. That's impressive.
Yeah.
In a garage, in a garage door opener, somebody clicks it and you suddenly just start flying.
Yeah, good luck.
It is. It does
Jong-un
make you
gets
think.
mad
I mean,
one day.
most of our cars are like that,
Yes.
anyways, and everything seems to work. But
Oh, for now.
I was watching a funny video last night that this guy, he has this account somewhere on Instagram where he takes children's toys and uses them with the normal battery. And then he's got this device that ups the voltage and he keeps turning it up 10, 12, 15, and the toy starts going crazy and the toy starts spinning. And I was thinking about that ride by wire. It's crazy.
So he makes basically children's electric chairs?
No,
is that what he's...
No, he just shows what happens when you push too much
electricity
voltage
into
a game.
Okay.
Instead of the 9-volt or the double A's, he throws everything at it and they spin out of control. It's really cool.
But like the guy in the Green Mile.
Yeah. But cars have been, throttle by wire for decades.
So this bike is the Icon Dark is 10,000. This bike right here is 12,300. There's a lot of customization possibilities. 9 colors you can choose from. Finally,
I like the green and gold. That's pretty good.
803 cc displacement, 73 horsepower, 6-speed quick shift, 388 pounds. And here's how I used it. You can't get from my house to the tennis courts or to the 405 anymore because of all of the traffic, because PCH is shut down and Sunset is shut down in the Palisades. So this week I rode my Scrambler, and a 45-minute drive turned into a 5-minute drive.
Awesome.
And it's just a friendly, happy, cool looking, fast enough motorcycle. It's one of those, like if you're looking for your first bike, I don't know why you would pick anything else but this. Just a nice little deal.
How do you feel about the riding position and
so comfortable?
It is
so comfortable. Look at that seat, Zuckerman, too. You can't
seat looks comfortable.
See how
I'm just
wide
wondering
it is?
about the handlebar position, and so the angle of
so comfortable.
Yeah,
it's just, it's designed for that. You know, back in the day, this bike, my first bike was a Honda Nighthawk, and it felt kind of the same. It's just an easy bike to ride, a good first bike to kind of learn on.
It's cool though.
This is a lot faster than that, and a lot better styling, and obviously more updated electronics and everything. But it's so easy. It's so nice.
It sort of looks like a off-road intent cafe racer. It's kind of a cool look.
They've had off-road scramblers.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody ever took them off-road, but they had the big goofball tires.
Yeah,
but this is something you can actually use. Yeah, it's nice, right? Beautiful bike. Thank you, Ducati, for sending it. We should be driving more. We need to get some BMWs. Aprilia would be good. Every time I talk about Ducati and BMW, everybody's like, Aprilia. Well, send them. We'll drive anything. Send it to us. I'm looking for bikes. I got rid of a bunch of bikes in the garage. I've got room now. I can drive some stuff, including my Triumph, which is now gone, and in its new, happier home. Let's do the SCR Green Room, and then Jay's going to come out and talk about watches. As you know, the SCR Green Room is stories from the internet that I know will entertain Zuckerman and Jonny, of course,
and more so yourself. But you put it on us. But that's okay.
And then we bring them into the Green Room, the fictional place where they become our whack pack.
Yes. Chief Security Officer Radamak.
That we don't have to talk about. Radamak being the leader of the group.
And number 2 is Sergeant at Arms is the Pringles Pooper.
Oh, yes. Okay. And I think I have 3. They were actually
he's the Health and Human Services Advisor.
The Pringles Pooper was a guy defecating in Pringles cans.
An attorney, mind you.
You love that.
Yeah, that's the part I like. Law degree and insane.
Yes. Well,
relatable.
Yeah.
Well, we have 3 new ones.
3.
There were actually about 10. I had to winnow them down. I was like, wow, there's a lot of dysfunction in the world this week. All right, let's put our headphones on. We've got 3 stories here with video. The first one is a professional panhandler who patrols the streets of Palm Springs is going viral, not just for his good looks, but also for his bold and shameless stance on the way he makes money. Check this guy out.
Yeah, that's Brad Love. He describes himself as a career panhandler. He was recently spotted by LA-based photographer who suggested Brad go into modeling. Well, Brad says he's not homeless and he has no interest in modeling or any other kind of job. He says he's had jobs, he's even been a nurse, but asking for cash on the side of the road is just easier.
Hey, well, young
All right,
River Phoenix right there.
I mean, that's our CFO.
So what do you think, Zuckerman? What do you think of that guy?
You know what? I like his honesty.
Yeah. I would guess that, don't you think there's better money in being a model?
Apparently not.
But you like him?
No, I don't, actually. No, I don't like him.
Why? Something's off, right?
Right, because he's an asshole. He's just a lazy asshole.
Right.
And I don't appreciate lazy asshole.
But look,
He could be our CFO, however. He's got the talent and the right attitude.
look at this kid. Do you know what he could pull down?
I think he's pulling down. I think the point is he's pulling down, and I bet there's more. There's more that he's getting the money just standing out there like that.
Do you remember that there was this guy, I can't remember, but he turned into a model. He was somebody.
The mugshot guy.
Yeah, the mugshot
with
guy.
the blue eyes.
Yeah. He
Handsome
turned out
guy,
to be a big deal. He married a celebrity. It all fell apart. But
Oh, what a surprise.
Shocker.
Well, maybe that celebrity should marry this guy.
But this guy, I mean, I'm sure is getting offers right now.
He's getting lots of offers. I have a feeling he's getting into cars too. I mean, not only the money's coming out of the car, he's getting into the car.
I mean,
Yeah.
It looks like a prank, doesn't it?
yeah,
looks like
or
a
he's
prank.
like some prick trying to prove a point, That could be that.
I'm not sure I trust that story. But that is story number one. Here's story number two. Powerball winner behind bars for kicking cop in the face.
Yes.
There he is right there.
Look at him.
Days after claiming a $167 million power jackpot, a Kentucky man is behind bars charged with kicking a cop in the face during a melee at an oceanfront hotel in Florida.
Melee.
This is where it gets fun. According to the court records, James Farthing, a 50-year-old ex-convict, was arrested Tuesday on felony and misdemeanor charges in connection with the fracas at the Tradewinds Resort in St. Pete Beach. Like, this is my favorite.
Melee and a fracas.
I mean, really, this detail I love so much. It's like you can't un-Florida this guy. He gets 170 mil, right? You're going anywhere now. You're going to you're going to St. Bart's. You're staying at the Guanahani or whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to Italy, to St. Pete, whatever place you want.
Tradewinds.
He goes to Tradewinds Resort in St. Pete, which makes me like him, by the way. Farthing was at the resort with his girlfriend. Get ready, Jacqueline Fightmaster.
There we go.
Wow. Who's 42. As seen in the photo above, Farthing and Fightmaster appeared Tuesday at a Kentucky lottery press conference for the Powerball win, and then shortly after were arrested.
Okay.
This is its own show, Zuckerman. Farthing and Fightmaster right there.
Farthing kind of looks like a little leprechaun there, but an evil leprechaun.
He looks like Rufus. They look exactly alike.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, it's like a mirror. So
Do you think Farthing looks sorry in that picture? Is there a little regret there?
There is. I think but he doesn't have to worry. Now that he's rich, he can hire a very high-priced lawyer, and he's never
That's
going
right.
to go to jail
That's right.
again.
I
It's easy.
predict he will not live more than 3 years. This money will be the death of him.
He's
Yeah.
going to run through it at an alarming rate.
And how did this woman get the last name Fightmaster? That's not a real last name. Is it? There are no Fightmasters.
I mean,
But she made sure to tilt her head a little bit in the picture.
It's a nice photo. It's a nice photo. It's a good
Farthing,
photo.
Farthing and Fightmaster are my favorite new couple. We love them.
He could be Radamax's like sergeant at arms,
Yeah, I'm rooting for this guy. I hope he gets his act together. I love the story of a guy who's been in jail, hopefully not for something terrible, who then wins the lottery and then,
And then goes back to jail.
and then kicks a cop in the face. I love
yeah.
it.
Well,
I mean, allegedly.
Allegedly.
We don't know what happened. Maybe the cop deserved it. Maybe he didn't.
maybe the cops started the fracas.
Or the melee.
But think about what they're saying, though. How do you kick a cop in the face?
the cop
It's
was on the
either a
ground.
high kick or he's on the ground. You think Farthing's high kicking?
No. I think that it could have been an off-duty inebriated.
Do you think Farthing is high kicking? That's the title of the show. All right. Well, that's number two. And number three, I think you know what this story is going to be because everybody sent it to us. And thank you. I needed to read it over and over again. Woman defecates on car hood in shocking road rage incident. And thankfully, it's all captured on video. Go ahead and play the video. And I'm sorry if you have children at home. There in the distance is the road rage. This woman right there.
Oh my.
Look at this. Can you roll? I don't know why if you're shooting, you would take the camera. Oh God.
Got a vicious shit on her car.
Yeah, why? Hey, dude, why aren't you shooting it? Why are you shooting your mirror? Look at that. Oh, God.
Like a skunk spraying. Oh, my God.
That's horrible.
And you know what she said, Lieberman?
What?
Tell her. It was a clean break. She
That's
said
right.
she didn't. That was clean break diarrhea.
What does that mean?
She means that she didn't have to wipe.
Look at her. Before you go to the video, look at her. She's laughing. She looks almost like an Amy Schumer character. But she's getting arrested in this picture.
She's delighted.
And she's delighted. Go to the video. Now watch this, Zuckerman. Audio.
Can you tell us what happened?
The lady chased me. She chased me and I asked her not to attack me.
She chased you?
I have a sickness.
You said she chased you?
Yeah, she chased me.
I'm fucking horrified.
And I got out and begged her to stop.
Better to do. Listen to her side of the story.
That's
and she
what
goes, I have a sickness.
listen to her side of the story. Yes.
Yeah.
She chased me.
We don't have to. We saw it.
Yes.
Is there any world?
No.
Have you ever considered
No.
when you're road raging that
No.
you would go and then how do you execute that? And like you're saying, she said it was a clean, that the woman's insane. Isn't she?
Yeah, I mean that's probably she really actually like severe mental problems is what the sickness is.
She's from Delaware County, so they call her the Delco Pooper, which is a good
Delco. Oh,
Delco.
so she also has that horrible accent too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a glass of water for my day or year.
Well, Zuckerman, when you saw this, did this make you happy? You like these stories?
This was. I'm not easily shocked.
Yes.
I am not easily.
That's
shocked.
what I thought.
And this shocked me.
You know, and didn't you think, like, in all of the things that we have seen in our lifetime, and now all of the media we consume, and everybody has a camera, I started thinking there's no new ideas out there anymore. And then this thing just happens, and you go, there's something brand new. How did that happen?
How did that happen?
I just want to hear about it though. I don't need the visual. That was really disgusting.
Oh, really?
But like that was just
Okay, no,
why did I have to watch that?
but
What
to
am I
be
doing
able
with my
to-
life? Like this sucks.
To be able to spray diarrhea on command. How does that all come together in this horrible
Did you see
accident?
the color of it?
Yeah, that's what I saw. It's
Like,
horrible.
something's wrong
Yes.
with what she's eating. It
Yeah,
was
it's-
like it was like an orangey pumpkin, like your Jaguar.
Stop it.
You know, it's a cross between Dinty Moore and Raviolios.
Yeah. And so who are you putting in the Zuckerman? Who are you putting in the green room? Let me say, handsome panhandler guy, farthing and fight master, or this lady whose name I don't know who went diarrhea.
Okay, so the green room gets farthing, and the Delco Pooper is our bathroom attendant.
Have a mint.
Fair enough.
She hands you a towel covered in her clean break feces.
That's
That
terrible.
was so gross.
Let's do a short message from Sonic Power. Then we're going to bring Jay from Sheffield out.
Poor Sonic
By the way,
Power.
Sonic Power, I know they were in the show last week. We have some video of Jerry talking about their ad while the CEO of the company watches. Here it is. It sucks in the best possible way. No?
Really bad, guys. Really, really bad. Need to work.
Okay, then the camera pans over. He's got some Sonic Power guy. He's got some beautiful cars. The CEO of Sonic Power is in that little 911 right there listening. He stopped watching the show.
CEO, you've got some work to do.
If you're the CEO, you've got some work to do. And there he is.
You've got some work to do.
There you go. But we love Sonic Power. But they, what made me laugh is they said, would you please, to start us off, put us in a Jerry show? And I said, are you sure? But we have the best sponsors in the world. They all love it. He was all over everybody. And they all called up and they couldn't be more excited. And you guys should check out Sonic Power. They're cool. They sent us boxes of great electronics and the prices do not break the bank. And I did use that vacuum right there that looks like a dildo. I did use it. What?
What did you use it for?
I said that looks like I used it for vacuuming
Oh, for
the car.
vacuuming.
Yes.
Wait, you got one of these?
I have one. Yeah.
Okay.
The guys will send you whatever you want. You
That's
guys always
something I need.
I need one for my wife's car because she won't.
They also sent this cordless, cordless bristle scrubber that we were using in the showers. That you put on the stuff and it gets all the grout clean. It's fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Just go to sonicpower.co. That's sonicpower.co and use code SPIKE. Just Spike for 10% off. That's Spike for 10% off.
Spike.
Sonic Power. Spike. There you go.
Can you use it as a dildo?
Can you imagine him in the shower, naked, cleaning grout? He's just fucking crazy.
Come on, I just had to watch the poop video. I gotta imagine he's naked Spike now.
Why do I need to be naked in the shower to clean grout?
With the dildo-shaped grout cleaner.
Why would you think I would be cleaning the grout?
You said to get all the stuff off in the shower.
Well, I have people who do those things, but I said use this thing and it worked. I liked it.
Naked in the shower.
I'm not naked in the shower. Anyway, let's bring Jay out. Jay, good to have you.
It's great to be here.
We know we've talked about your watches forever on this show, and then it occurred to me that I hadn't had you on. It's like, what the hell are we doing here? You know, we love your story so much. For folks who don't know that story, I believe it was a year and a half ago that you reached out to me.
Actually, I was going to talk about that. It was almost 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
And I was listening to the podcast where you interviewed the fella that completely hand-built watches here in the U.S. And at the end of that show, you said, somebody should be making a great watch under $200. And I went, oh, okay. So I DM'd you and said, well, I'm about to do that debut. And this was in June, and in July they came out. So.
Wow. And you had a great story. You said, I'm a Porsche guy.
Yep.
I'm about to sell a watch that's $200 or less. And it's a brand that's very dear to me. Mm-hmm. It was a watch my father bought for me. When was this?
When I was 11 years old.
In New York?
And actually, I was from Minnesota. They bought it for me when I was 11 in 1970.
1970.
And they probably bought it at J.B. Hudson or a jeweler in Minneapolis that had a range of watches like that.
So your dad bought you a Sheffield dive watch.
That's right.
And what you told me you loved about the watch was this watch did not break the bank.
No.
This was an affordable quality watch. Mm-hmm. Do you still have this watch?
I do. And it's featured on the opening page of the website. And it's a 33 millimeter Swiss movement, hand wind, Sheffield dive watch that is virtually, it's the quintessential kind of look for the 60s of many different dive watches. But Sheffield was pretty proliferant then.
Yeah, they made a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And was there much diving going on where you were? Why did your dad get you this watch?
You know, we had a pool, but I just got into. Well, first of all, even as a kid, that young, I was into cars, and then I was also into watches, and Sea Hunt was a huge hit.
That's right.
And then there was James Bond, and I just said I really love that style, and I've always have loved it, and I was grateful when I just cherished that thing, and for years it's beat to hell, but it was a great watch,
and it still works.
Yes.
Yeah. You raised a boy, Zuckerman. Yeah. They like all manner of knives, survival gear, camping gear.
Keys, watches, and waterproof is
a dive watch, of course, because it represents adventure, even though you may not have it. But like you say, you're going to bring it into the bathtub. Right. You're going to bring it to the lake or wherever you're going to hang out, and you're going to use it. So now, flash forward, Sheffield is a New York brand?
It was their offices were in New York. They had a wide variety of watches over a 20-year period, from the 50s into the end of the 60s, early 70s, before the quartz movement came out and kind of put a lot of watch brands away. And
because most watches up to that point are mechanical, and these are the things that we love right now. Yeah. But the quartz movement comes along, and
just there was Caravel, there was Sheffield, there was a number of other brands.
And it puts people out of business because they're affordable and
Yep.
you don't have to whine them.
Well, plus they're reliable. You never had to think about it.
Right. It's just and so the quartz. Imagine that now, Zuckerman. I see quartz right now, and I kind of run, except for some stuff we'll talk about later. But Sheffield goes out of business after how many years of being in business?
Well, at least 25.
25.
Yeah.
And that was what year?
74.
Since 74. Okay, there you go.
That really dark period, right?
Yeah.
So now you decide at what point you're into watches still, and at what point does Sheffield, the idea of rebooting this brand and buying this brand, come and get into your head?
Well, I've been developing a plethora of sporting goods products for 35 years.
Right.
And I just said, you know, I love watches. I have Rolexes and I have a Monaco and I have different watches. And I really did like my lower end watches, like my Casios and my G-Shocks. And I thought, you know, I want to do a watch. I want to do a watch just like the one I got from my parents because I hadn't seen anything like that. And so I made the move and trademarked the brand. And then
was the brand viable at that point, or was it just, did anybody own it?
It was abandoned?
It was an abandoned, dead trademark.
So it's a dead trademark.
Yeah.
We need to find some.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does that work? So how do you figure that out and find out about
Well,
that?
I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, you just do a search and there's a couple things that there could be conflicting trademarks from other brands that are using affiliated names with their name or otherwise, but they're within, and you would know this, within segmented areas, whether jewelry, watches, and things like that. And this was available in that category or that classification. So
you just go,
yep.
That's mine.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
the designs of the company become yours. And
Well, those are abandoned in the sense that there's a 50-year gap, and there's no even if they were patented or there were design patents, those are
no current use.
No current use.
So
at all.
you step in and you go, I'm going to breathe some life into the brand. This has personal meaning in my life. My parents bought me this watch. I still have it. What I love is that it was affordable quality. And I'm going to reboot this brand. And this is the story you told me, and sell it at the same price as they sold it when I got mine, which was what year?
My parents paid in 1970. They paid about $13 for my watch, and that today is $108.
And that was that first watch that you put out. What stops me every time with any business idea I have, Zuckerman, it's just like how to execute, right? Obviously, he's working with, I know you do mouth guards and things because, my kids, the lacrosse team, you donated the Pally High lacrosse team, a bunch of mouth guards and all that stuff. And I think there was also a time where my knee was out and something else was out. And you said, I have braces. I have a company with braces for that. But you say, I'm going to take this, reboot this watch brand. From there, what do? Are you getting out like a blank piece of paper and designing a watch? Are you finding one of their designs and how do you know what I mean?
It's a great question.
Because I know you know the business side of things, but take us through the creative side on how you would launch a watch brand from scratch pretty much.
So there's a couple things. The first thing, you kind of look at the competitive landscape. You look at who's out there, and there's a ton of really nice watches in that micro brand segment. And my first thing is, why are you creating something that nobody needs? Because there's a ton of micro brands,
Yeah.
And so part of the thought around it was the value proposition with quality, because I knew that it could be done. And then from a design standpoint, I was making absolutely sure that I didn't copy anybody. I don't like to, make a knockoff Submariner or something like that.
Right.
That would just be absolutely not what I
And there's
wanted
tons
to
of that
do.
out there when you talk about micro brands.
And
They just knock off the prettiest watch they've seen, and you look at it twice, and you're like, wait a minute.
So I think the key was for me to have all those things that I liked, which was drilled lugs, 316 stainless chassis and cases, sapphire crystals, strong movements. I use Seiko or Miyota movements. And then from a design perspective was to create, kind of a tool watch, the first watch that was appealing, but it wasn't exactly like anything else that you see. And I think the value and the story together with just, and serendipitously being fortunate that you talked about it, and you guys did. And I think that was the first stage, just to what I called my experiment. It was literally an experiment to see if there was any way that I could get attention with the automotive crowd as well as with the watch aficionados.
Right.
And
you know what's really crazy? Jay makes it sound so easy. He goes through this step as if, giving you directions on how to bake a cake.
Yes.
Right. It's flour,
find the ingredients, you put it in the oven.
And you realize how many steps he's taken. There's an idea. We know it's 10% idea, 90% execution.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
1%,
that's the,
99%.
Yeah. But then he says, think about all of the different capabilities that have gone into this. We've got procurement. We've got creativity, imagination, design, taste, all of these things. Because if you want to build something, you could easily have that Yagubian car, right?
Uabian. Yagubian. That Yagubian car.
What's it called?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's called the Yagubian now.
Now, the
Yagubian
Puma. You end up with something with four wheels that looks like the Wienermobile.
That's what I was getting at. So, who did you said what you wanted, but who were you talking to when you said, "Hey, these lugs, this case, this thing"?
A lot of it was me taking photos and sketches of existing product and saying, I don't want this, but I want some of this. And then I want to take it here. And then I'm awfully good at doing spec sheets and kind of directional kinds of things. And to be honest with you, the first factory I worked with, they failed and I had to move on to a different factory.
Do you have some duds?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah,
we want to see the duds at some
that would
point.
be interesting.
Yeah,
But when you go to these factories, and I'm guessing they're in other countries, they have design teams there that kind of help you. Is there a factory then that's helping watchmakers make watches?
What's really helpful is once you do your rough spec and you say, I want this style or this marker, and I want Swiss loom and I want Japanese loom, they render it for you. And then you go through a process of, once you have the base, but you just still have to finesse it.
Right.
And so you get into a rhythm with these factories or with these people that they understand kind of where you're thinking and the quality level you want. And then you just find out more and more that there's a lot of possibilities that I didn't even know that I had. So I could move forward to do even like when we moved into the automatics, we moved into the SCR range. It was, we want a blasted case. We want, a different bezel. I want to use steel instead of aluminum. All these things that I didn't know I could use, I found out what I could use as we move forward. So I kind of started with the simple, and then it allowed me to go forward into more complex and to the next stage. And we're kind of working on those watches. Too.
And I want to talk about that. You've got all of the SCR watches there. Look at them.
Fantastic.
Including the brand new one. Let's talk about the brand new one, because that, I think we can it's a buzzer beater situation here if you want to order one. We might already be sold out of them.
No, we're good. We're good.
But you can hold them up here and tell us about what we did with this watch.
So this is, taking the standard spec from our other SCRs, but bringing out kind of a new color range. It's more monochromatic in terms of how the green dial and the grün dial and the band work together.
Yeah.
The bezel itself, it's beautiful. I've gotten more comments from your posts or my posts, like, when is that watch coming out? When is that coming out?
Because you put on a pair of faded jeans and a white t-shirt and you have that green and it just looks great all day long.
Yeah.
And it was, when we were going through colors, we noticed they were paint to sample Porsche greens that we were most focused on, which I believe was an olive green. Yeah. And then next to them, we have the St. Bart's. I love wearing all of these watches. They're so fun to design these with you.
Yeah.
You and I will get on the phone and chat about watches for an hour, and then Zuckerman, 2 days later, I get these sketches of this perfect watch, and I'm like, how did he do that? How did he capture the whole deal? The original SCR. Are these ever going up for sale again? The other two?
We will have a special run in the summer of all three of these watches.
All three watches. Wow. as a collection. It'd be nice why not do
we could do a box
the
set.
package box set.
And it comes in a nice little roll or something
Yes.
like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, with a little card in. It's got a picture of Rufus. Or
Yes.
Well, see, the thing is, we have
a lot of stuff coming
we have
out.
a lot of stuff coming up too.
Why don't you tell us? There's some exciting watches here. There's a watch with Jay Leno that I think we didn't bring with us because we don't have the prototype ready, or you don't have it ready. But
a driver's watch.
This is a driver dial watch. Tell us what Jay Leno wanted to do here and when this goes on for sale.
He was really specific in the sense that he didn't want to do a diver watch. He wanted to do a driver's watch that you would wear on around the backside of your wrist, not on the top of your wrist, so that when your hand's on the wheel, you look down and the 12 is going straight. And he wanted a more classic kind of feel to it, but with a little punch. I think it's going to do fantastically well. Just visually alone, it's got really great.
I flipped out when I saw it, Zuckerman. I just went, how did we not think of that idea?
I love the crown position.
You know what I mean?
I love the vaguely paddock kind of a shape to it.
Yeah.
And I love the offset of the seconds hand.
Yeah, he really nailed it.
Yeah,
right out of the gate, he really nailed it. This is beautiful.
And this uses a Seiko movement, and it's going to be in our affordable range of pricing.
Here's you want to see something Jay and I have been working on? Jay Turkbus right here. This is our new deal that we're working on right here. Look at this guy. Is evocative of my old love of Hoyer right here. And we were playing around with blues inspired by the Siffert blues and the old Octavias. And this is hopefully going to have, I think, a Swiss movement. Yeah. So you have a leather strap or one of these two bracelets. I think we're going to get rid of the word chronograph on the dial just so the little SCR is there, not that intrusive. But I'm so excited about this watch. I am
really
so
gorgeous.
Excited about this watch too.
Really nailed this, and I love the positioning of all of the plungers or pushers.
And I think you had an interesting. You said that we would do a batch that's going to be a little more expensive with the Swiss movement.
Right.
And then the affordable version, which would have the hybrid quartz movement, right? And just quickly, I can never get this right. How does a hybrid quartz movement work?
So hybrid quartz is the Mecha quartz by Seiko. It's the VK64.
I like that.
And so they created a mechanical component to the quartz movement that when you hit the pusher, you have a sweep second hand that's just like an automatic.
Awesome.
But the battery is running the main movement.
Got it. But
the one differential is you'll have a 24 marker on the right hand side, which is for 24 hours of total time. If you set it at 7 o'clock, you'll have 1800 on the 24 side. So you're kind of looking at that. But it's the differential is when you get an automatic chrono or a hand wind, you'll have that 30-minute mark on the side and the 60-second mark on the left side.
Amazing.
So,
and when is this watch coming out?
I think at the late summer or early fall.
Cool.
Wow. The last thing I'll comment on is the home plate date. I like that.
Yeah,
I like the positioning of the date of the month. At a home plate.
What else? What else do you have here? You've got that watch you showed a second ago next to the Jay Leno watch here.
Keep going to the far left. Okay, this is going to be a classic that is based on a steering wheel in one of your 356s.
Oh wow!
And I was able to get hands made. You know how the spokes of the steering wheel get wider as they go to the wheel itself, but I wanted to get a little wood in the dial as well.
That's really cool.
Fantastic.
And this will be an automatic.
What do you call this one?
I have no name.
We don't have a name yet. All right, we're going to help you with that.
Yeah, it's great.
How about the Woody?
The Woody.
No, I'm joking. That's beautiful. That's really cool.
That's going to be cool. I mean, it's going to look fantastic, and this is a render, but it'll look.
Yeah, it's already just a beautiful thing to look at.
Again, kind of like a Calatrava shape, if you say, and then very classic with the way the proportions, everything about it.
Weren't you working on a Johnny Lieberman bronze watch?
Yes, we have that in process. But
So it's still in development?
It's in development.
Can it be made of
Got to
pastrami?
make some decisions.
We'll have a pastrami watch.
How about a watch with a beard?
Or a beard.
On
With
it, right at the
mustard
6
on it.
o'clock.
Yeah.
There's some mustardy beard
Yeah.
underneath.
No, I mean, what's fantastic is everybody has like this vision of what they like, but we can kind of mold to that vision.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
not like anything else.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's fabulous stuff.
Love it.
What
Love
else?
it. This
Anything
is
else
the
to look
greatest.
at before we say goodbye?
You can go to the next to the.
No, that's our
there you go.
beautiful.
This
Yeah.
one. This
Oh,
is
this
going,
is a
this
great
is what I
watch.
call the super production
Wow.
series, and that is Swiss movement automatic using an SW200 movement that we will be bringing out later this year. In limited quantities, maybe 100 pieces, but that's a blue carbon dial.
It's so great.
In the gilded hands.
Yeah, I wear
really
this watch a
contrasts.
lot. In the sun, that dial makes me really happy.
Yeah, so I'm excited about this as well, and that's a 40 millimeter case. That's
What a great.
But doesn't
that's
that-
a lot of watch.
There's a lot of Breitling buyers who are going to buy this.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I love
Instead of dropping 5 G's on one, under
What a
4,
beautiful watch.
100. It's gorgeous. Yeah, I like this watch a
Don't
lot.
hold me to it. I'm working on that.
Well, that's
but,
that's why I
times-
said
and times change. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
difficult
yeah.
time
price
period.
range, price range.
but they'll
range.
still be comparatively to anything else like it. It'll still be great.
Unbelievable. Well, Jay, it's always a pleasure to see you, and it's exciting to have you finally come on the show.
What a success story, really.
You want to check out his watches? Go to SheffieldWatches.com, and that way you can also follow Jay on Instagram and keep up with everything he's doing, including all the watches in the automotive community and everything else. You own Porsche. You're a Porsche guy?
Yeah, I drove my 968 that I keep here in California.
Yeah.
The 83 and the 84 911s are back in Park City, and
There you go.
covered. They're about ready to be broken out.
He's
I
got
love
it.
it. He's
got
got
it.
it. He's got
And
cars
hey, I
and
have
watches.
to thank you guys, all three of you, for being such fans and so sincere about it. I really appreciate it.
Oh, that's cool.
Thank
Well, of
you.
course.
Thank you.
It's sincere. We love what you do. I love your passion about it. I love the story of reviving Sheffield and the reasons why. And it's
and
really
the
about the
follow through. God,
follow
it's
through.
I'm in awe of the follow through.
There you go.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And that's our show. We'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio. There goes Jay from Sheffield. See you later, Johnny. Get out of here.